Hello and welcome to a gameplay video of Blue-White Control. This one I'm doing a recording of and stream of, so you'll be able to see this on YouTube here hopefully soon. Right now we're playing the list that I won at a recent RCQ. And I should probably air quote recent. This is kind of like 3 weeks overdue. Kind of show proof of my win at the RCQ. This is a photo of me, and of course my opponent in the background kind of doing the sad face. I kind of like how they kind of cropped his head out in this, but I was on Blue-White Control, to no surprise for anyone who kind of follows me here in Colorado or kind of knows me as the control player. We are playing Blue-White Control, and this is this is the exact list that we ran at the RCQ. So we're gonna kind of give it a go, just to kind of see where we're at. I probably would make some changes 3 weeks after my win with this, but I kind of want to see how the meta kind of looks like online, since it's a little bit different in person. I was kind of a little bit surprised I didn't come across any Boros energy, but I did come across what were my matches. Round 1 was against Mono Blue Belcher, 2 was against Titan, 3 was against this really cool Mono White Death and Taxes deck, which I think has been kind of picking up in popularity lately. I saw a recent streamer, I think Demonic Tutors, shout out to him, playing the deck. Didn't really see a whole lot of it, but sounds like it's picking up in popularity. But a local here who likes to play Death and Taxes started off 2-0 with the deck, and fortunately, he ended up playing against me, which he said it was my worst matchup. So I got there in 3-0, and rounds 4 and 5 I drew in, so I made it into top 8. So in my top 8, my first round there was against Orzhov Blink. Second round was against Domain Zoo, and finals was against Esper Blink. So Blink is an overall good matchup for us, but I can't say we are always guaranteed to win. I did lose against one matchup, probably what was it, last week at one of the locals with my exact list. Probably just due to bad draws, which can be kind of the known case. Kind of just do a quick rundown with the deck. I guess I should probably expand this out a little bit since we're not showing the important cards like Wrath of Skies and Prismatic Ending. With my last video, my deck was kind of almost a similar build. Some minor changes here. We have with my list that I did right before my RCQ, I did a Lorien Revealed. It just kind of felt like we were kind of a little bit shy on land sometimes. And it's also kind of nice that we can get a dual land with these, or surveil land. So that came up quite a bit. The other one, the biggest shocker I thought was the Wandering Emperor. This was a card that I played at an RCQ in, what was it? SCG-Con RCQ Denver a few months back. It was okay at the time, but then it just kind of seemed like it was a little bit stale or a little bit too slow. I took it out, and then I think maybe a couple months later I kind of found myself going into a lot of draws and kind of being a little bit kind of restrained on time. So I wanted to put another win con in this deck, so I figured Wandering Emperor is good for things like Pitch into Solitude. Yeah, we wanted to put Wandering Emperor in here as just another win con, and it overperformed probably at the RCQ. It won me games where I shouldn't have won. Great for exiling things like Flage, for example. Gains you life. All the modes on this card was just awesome overall. I even used the first +1 to make an attack with Kihira against what was it, a Solitude. Flash this in, give this Kihira +1/+1, and it kind of treated itself as another removal spell. But outside of that, I still like the Orange Chant Scepter combo. I'm actually just on one main board and not one in the sideboard, but we are doing one main and then 4 chants. Still love this combo. However, I'm kind of starting to get kind of to that point where I could see getting rid of Ice-Crown Scepter and kind of making this kind of a wild card, maybe like a third Teferi or whatever. But the games where you play against what is it? Is it Prowess or Black White Midrange? Game 1, this can just be an automatic Game 1 winner. Same thing with Eldrazi if they're not doing any kind of like Boseiju shenanigans. But, oh, actually, I don't know. This is kind of a. I need to make a quick change to this. These should be spell snares. So, just kind of mental note of that. I will change that really quick. I did not actually play Stern Scoldings in the main board, but I did play one in the side. So these should actually be spell snares. So treat these as spell snares for what they're supposed to be. But yeah, we're gonna get right to it. We're gonna hop into a league and see how we do. Kind of go from there. So stay tuned. All right, looks like we're starting round 1 here. It looks like we are on the play, which is always a plus for us. Cool. We will definitely reveal our companion. Alright, so on the play here, against an unknown opponent. I mean, we kind of have our combo already developed here with Narset and Days Undoing. Fortunately, we are short our 3rd land, so that's the one thing I'm a little bit iffy on here. We can play this on turn 1, turn 2, hold up counterspell. I think I'm actually kind of tempted to kind of keep this and see, because if we go turn 3 land, we can go Narset into Days Undoing, and if Narset sticks around, this Narset and Days Undoing combo has always been just a huge plus. Kind of ends up kind of winning us the game for the most part. Us drawing 7 cards and our opponent only drawing 1 feels really good. So yeah, we'll try this and see how it pans out. Opponent thinking about their hand as well. Looks like they are mulligan down to 5. Wow, down to 4. Okay. One would probably assume that this is Tron or Eldrazi, maybe Neoform. We'll see. Either way, we're leading with a Hall of the Storm Giants. March Flats, so this could be Black White Midrange. Alright. So Mystic 8 will just pass. Unfortunately, not what we want here. But it is something that we can pitch with Orange Chant if need be. Could be Dimir Frog, could be Espregorio. Looks like it could be Espregorio here. Alright, so we drew our planes here, but our opponent shocked in, which makes me think that they could probably have counter magic back up here. So I don't feel really comfortable jamming a Narset right now. I think if we were against a non-blue deck here, I would definitely jam like a Narset. Depending on the matchup, like if it's a Boros Energy, I'd probably just keep Narset at 5. Okay, so it is Espregorio. Matchup we did not play against at the RCQ, but I'd be kind of curious to see how this matchup goes for us. I'm trying to think, maybe we could look at a recent list of Espregorio. One thing that my RCQ local did was top 8 had open deck list, which I'm not really a big fan of. Kind of felt like I kind of had a huge advantage of like what I was playing against, and decks like this, like I don't know if they're actually playing counterspells. All right, so there is an Arid Mesa, so we drew our 4th land, which is perfect here. So if we want to be a little bit cautious, we can go Orange Chant, our opponent, so they can't cast any spells. And then we play Narset. Problem is, though, if we tap out, it's a little bit of an issue here. So I kind of like being able to just jam a Narset here since we have a 2nd one in hand. And then on the upkeep, we can actually just go Orange Chant. But, well, actually, let's think this through, actually, because they can actually Goryo's Vengeance in response to our Orange Chant. Something that we do need to be a little bit cautious of. Of course, their Atraxa would be exiled. I think that's fine, because if they put cards into their hand, we can always just Days Undoing. So whatever cards that they put in hand, I think that's fine. So let's do this. Let's jam a Narset. If this gets countered, we'll use this like Orange Chant on their upkeep. Let's see what our opponent's trying to do here. Probably just hard casting out Force Negation. They did mulligan down to 4, so Taking Indulgence. Alright, so they're responding to this before Narset hits. It would be a little bit awkward for them to resolve this and then play Taking Indulgence. So they put a Grizzlebrand, so they have options. I don't think I want to tick down here since we are kind of setting up our turn for Days Undoing, so I think I will just simply pass, but we will... Let's see. Be a little bit cautious here, because if we Orange Chant, they can Glorious Vengeance still kill this Narset. So I think we're kind of... Oh, whoops, we forgot to put a stop on our opponent's upkeep. Whoops. Slight misplay. Which may not be all that bad, honestly, because we can even just go solo 2, pitch the Orange Chant. One thing on Magic Online is definitely put stops on your opponent's upkeep. I don't know, our opponent did mull it down before here, so I think we're kind of in reasonable shape here. And we could have responded to this, but since they have a fetch land, we can actually respond to that fetch land being cracked if they do have a Glorious Vengeance here. Looks like they did not. Force Negation or Ephemerate, I think is what got milled over. I think our best case scenario here, we want to go to our turn with 4 mana open, go Orange Chant so they can't cast spells for their turn. It looks like they picked up a Ephemerate here. Now again, we could have responded to this. That's fine. Yeah, so this is our best case scenario. We get to go Orange Chant and then go Days Undoing. See if we actually draw another white card here, because I would like to use a Solitude to get rid of this Psychic Frog. So we'll crack this fetch land. We will get an Archive here and see what's on top. 5th land. It's actually not bad here since we can actually hold that up for potential counterspell. Let's keep that on top. Draw. I would like to draw a white card here, so let's actually tick down on Narset first, just to see what our options are, if we have any. Alright, so we do have another Days Undoing or Teferi here. We could go to Teferi, bounce the Psychic Frog, they have to recast it. It's actually not all that bad, and they actually have a Philogy that's at 0. So we'll do that. Let's see, with 3 cards in hand, really not too worried here. Yeah, let's actually do this. So we'll play a Teferi. So now we'll go Orange, so we'll bounce this back to our opponent's hand, we'll go Orange Chant, doing both modes. Just to be on the safe side for whatever reason they can give this a counter. So then, now we actually just want to set up this combo here, so then that way we have Teferi and Narset, so they can't really interact at all. So, just to be on the safe side here, we'll just do the kicked Orange Chant. What's nice here is they can't even cast their Psychic Frog, so with Days Undoing, it'll get shuffled back in. Excellent. So now we're guaranteed to play our Days Undoing. Oh man, kind of wish we waited a little bit, but not knowing what was going to be on top, we of course drew our Azorius Control, and that's fine. Here we can actually, since we do have Teferi, I almost kind of forgot about this, we actually take up one Teferi and we actually put a stop on their draw step. So after they draw, we go Days Undoing, so then they draw no cards at all. So I don't think we're going to do anything with Narset here. We won't put Kira into our hand, so I think we'll just simply just draw go here. Draw go here. Of course, we could go Ice Crown Scepter counterspell. Now let's actually do that. That way we're just like counterspelling every single spell. They're going to be drawing no cards, or they'll have no cards in hand once we do Days Undoing on their turn. This is kind of a cute combo. I'm usually used to doing Ice Crown Scepter with Chant. So probably play a little bit faster since our opponent's ahead by 3 minutes on the clock. So of course our opponent could also have an Aurora. That is something to kind of keep in mind. take our chances here. Cool. And it looks like we got paid off here. Yeah, because the combo with that is you want to wait until they draw, and then you go Days Undoing because Teferi allows you to cast sorceries at instant speed. So you wait until they draw, you go Days Undoing, they shuffle their hand and graveyard back into their deck, which is actually great here against Goryo's, since they'll have no graveyard, so they can't Goryo's Vengeance. But then each player will be able to draw 7 cards. We draw 7, but because we have Norset, they draw no cards at all, so it's great for us. Most of the time, just like that, our opponent just straight up concedes. This is why I play it out. Cool. So here we're going to bring in at least 5 cards. We could probably consider taking, or bringing in like Consigned Memory, maybe a Stern Scolding for like Philagi and Psychic Frog. Though I'm not really too worried about that. Spell Snares, this is another reason why in my deck tech these were originally the Stern Scoldings. I took them out for Spell Snares because that's what, these are the actual cards I ended up playing at my RCQ. Spell Snare here is actually great, so we want to keep them in. What we're taking out, we are probably just going to take out Wrathless Guys. We are going to keep in Supreme Verdicts that can't be countered. Prismatic Ending maybe just as a 1 of, maybe 2 of here. I could also probably see taking out Ice Crown Scepter, even though it would have been really good for us there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we do have to worry about Psychic Frog. We do have answers for it for like Purge, which is why we're taking out a Prismatic Ending. They could have a Teferi of their own too. That is something to kind of keep in mind. Wandering Emperor is fantastic here. However, with what was it, Atraxa, not so much. Probably want to take out a Tune since we're not really on the energy package here, so we'll just try this. Yeah, we didn't really play against Goryo's Vengeance at the RCQ. Would have been kind of curious to see how that matchup would have gone for us. Let's see, so it looks like this time our opponent, or choosing to be on the play, obviously. There's a kind of skeptical hand here. Sky Reach is kind of awkward. However, it does pair well, I cannot talk, with Norset here. Another similar interaction here. You wait until their draw step. If they have no cards, you make them draw and then discard. I think because we're on the draw, we have 2 Mystical Disputes, Spell Snare. This does buy us some time, so I'm actually okay with keeping this hand. Each of us keeps 7, so we might actually have a game here. Forgot that I actually put a stop on the draw step. So good old Island Go. I think if our opponent leaves with a Psychic Frog, we'll probably just Mystical Dispute that, since Spell Snare can actually hit a, what is it, Goryo's Vengeance. Don't think I actually worry about a Philology here, so we'll actually let that resolve. Kind of want to be able to counter things like Force Negation or their Mystical Disputes, maybe Psychic Frog. However, they did put this as a 1/4, so that is a little bit scary. Now we drew our Days Undoing. We'll just need a second island. This is a little bit awkward for us. And we could have countered this and just represented an empty board state, but I still want to keep our counter spells for something a little bit scarier. So like Psychic Frog here, we could Spell Snare this, but I'd rather Mystical Dispute it. And they can't force a negation since it's their turn. We'll draw. Mystic Gate was actually a great draw here. And we do have to be a little bit cautious of Atraxa in the graveyard. So we could jam this Narset. The problem is, if we jam a Narset, they can just Goryo's Vengeance it. So I'm not going to take my chances there. But drawing a Mystic Gate here is kind of important since we can filter double blue here. We do have the option to Prismatic Ending this. Opponent is going to get some value off of this Philology, and probably again on the upkeep. Choose Force Negation. Okay, so they have a Force Negation in hand, so that's one reason why we kind of have this Mystical Dispute for that. Most likely they're going to take that Goryo's Vengeance. Surprise. Now it is instant speed, so they can always cast this on our end step, which gets a little bit tricky for us because we would have to actually counter that. This is why this mana base right here is a little bit awkward, so I'd love to see like even a basic planes here. Oh, this guy reach is a little bit interesting here. I kind of do want to use it though, because I want to draw it into some lands here if we can. I don't like being able to use this to give our opponent some value, but for what it is, I kind of just want to be able to draw closer to our lands now. If we knew we were going to draw a land, we would have not activated this, but we did draw a land. Here we'll probably just discard an ending. Ending would take care of the Philology here, but I'm not too worried about that. They have... Oh wait, actually, wait, they reset it. Never mind. So, Philology's not really all that scary now. So, if they have a Teferi of their own, that's one thing to keep this in, but that's why we also have Mystical Dispute for this matchup. And of course, I did ignore the fact that Goryo's Vengeance is a instant speed, and here we are dealing with an Atraxa. Now this will get exiled. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. What is that one? Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't even know what they... Okay, and then they're going to keep their Atraxa there. Jeez. Alright. A little bit bad for us. Okay, yeah, I totally messed up there. We were supposed to not tap out for that. They do have to discard 4 cards, though. Sink into super... Oh my god, so they did this twice, but I think there was a Mystical Dispute that they put it. Okay. I don't even know what they put into their hand. I see the first one, but I don't see the second one. Thoughtseize, Island, Sink. Okay, so they do have a... what is it? Thoughtseize in hand. Okay. Kinda wish we had 5 mana here, but I think they took a Mystical Dispute here. Because I can't really see the other cards that they picked here. Okay, they did take a Force Negation, or that was from the Philology from earlier. So we'll counter this. Cool. Outside attracts that back, and we'll just pass. Alright. I'm not playing perfectly for this game here against Esper Goryo, since tapping out for that was just really bad. That kind of just set us back a turn. But not knowing that we were not going to draw our 4th land, it's kind of hard to say, because if we didn't draw our land, it's kind of puts us in kind of, I want to say kind of the same spot anyways, because we could Spell Snare their Goryo's Vengeance on our end step, but then we kind of just tap out with the Mystic Gate and Gyre Reach Sanctum. So we knew that they had a Thoughtseize. I think that's why we wanted to just play Teferi here. I think they have to take Days Undoing, I would assume. They do have a Sink into Super, so they would probably have to like bounce this Teferi if they were really scared about it. And they leave us with Chant and Days Undoing. So they have a Teferi of their own. So we can't, unfortunately, cast this at instant speed. Let's see. Prismatic Ending kind of would be doing some work here if we kind of fetch for like a red source. Now our only red source is a Thundering Fall, so it would enter battlefield tapped. I was running a Steam Vents in addition in this deck at one point, but I kind of felt like most of the time we don't really need the red source right away. So I was kind of fine without it. Oh, so they thought us the second time. Kind of surprised that they didn't do this on our draw step. I did counterspell here. Alright. Well, we're not really doing anything else here, so we can just put Kihira into our hand and just kind of pass. I would love to Orim's Chant, but sadly we cannot. Now here I think end of turn we will get a Thundering Falls in case we do draw our second Prismatic Ending. But didn't do anything too scary on their last turn, so we're kind of hoping that they don't do anything this turn. Prismatic Ending for 3. Cool. Oh wait, they couldn't think about it. They couldn't thought save us on our draw step anyways because we had our own Teferi. Okay. Sometimes I even forget about what my own Teferi does. I'm pretty sure our opponent would have like thought seized us on our draw step if we didn't have a Teferi. Opponent's gonna bounce back their Philogy. Smart on them. I think we could just F6 here, I want to say. Well, maybe not exactly F6, but nice to get a Surveil land here. Supreme Verdict, we kind of have to deal with the Psychic Frog. Don't like having to use Psychic Frog on this. Oh, I keep forgetting that we have a stop on our draw step. Still want to keep that there just in case. We can just F6. That's at least one nice thing we can do against opposing Teferis here. Oh, they're just going to hardcast in and attract, so may just go. Yeah, we'll just go to the next game because I think they're going to get this one. Alright. So we kept 3 endings in. I couldn't remember if we kept 2 or 3. Cool. So yeah, we could bring in Consign. I don't see why we would want to do that. I don't think it's really necessary here, so I think we'll just like shiv it back. Perhaps this guy is just not really good. Alright, so we'll take the play. We'll obviously reveal our companion. Alright. He's in hand. And we have a Solitude to pitch with ending on one of their best creatures, so I kind of like keeping this anyways. How many bets do I need to pay you to stream a league playing Maze Zen? Dude, I'd do that for free just because of you. I don't really play a lot of Magic Online. I think, God, I haven't touched Magic Online in over a month now. I'm like way overdue to even stream this deck, and I won with this deck. What was that, like 3 weeks ago too. I've just been so busy with stuff that I just been like, oh man, I want to stream this, but I can't. Now on the days where it's like, oh shoot, I really want to stream this, I just don't want to be streaming at like midnight or whatever. Okay, so we will get an archive here. I'm not going to exactly like fire off a tune just yet. We'll keep Orim's Chant. Draw. Actually, I think we'll take out the clicks for the draw step. Yeah, just pass. For a second there, I was like, oh crap, I forgot to play Tune, but luckily enough, it's instant speed. Did I just naturally surveil over a Grizzlebrand? Nope, I did not. Yeah, playing combo online kind of sucks. When Splinter Twin was legal the first time around, I hated doing all the clicks, and there was one time that I kind of misclicked on the wrong creature that it kind of set me back so much that I think I was short like 3 damage to kill my opponent. And because of that, they were like, well, sorry, I'm going to make you play it. But luckily enough, like on paper, you can just say like, hey, this is the combo right here. Alright, so Psychic Frog enters. I think we are going to fetch up a Thundering Falls since we have this ending. We want to just set it up for another Teferi. Let's see. May have to be a little bit cautious because they could have a fatty in their hand. I think even if they do, if this Teferi were to resolve, let's just say. I've been playing a deck in Pioneer with a number of infinite combos. It's a huge pain, and Twin can be similar, yeah. Yeah, there's just no respect for combo decks, period. Second Orange Chant. I'm fine with this. But I could have a Force of Negation here. I think we just kind of make them have it. Sometimes it pays off. Cool. Alright, and our opponent didn't even discard too, which is great for us. Now they could play a Teferi of their own, but that's fine, because if they play a Teferi, we can go ending it, since now we have 3 colors of mana to do that. Yeah, at least with the clicks on Magic Arena, it's a lot better to kind of navigate than Magic Online, from what I've noticed. Psychic Frog. Now I'd love to see back-to-back lands here so we can play our 5 mana. Well, that's step 1. Alright, so we don't have to fire off these prismatic endings just yet. In fact, let's see, we could even go just Orange Chant, make them not attack for a turn too, so that's another thing we can do. So we'll just put a stop on their or upkeep. Since we don't have any counter spells here. However, let's see what they actually surveil first. Animations on Arena, you only have 5 minutes to combo, and animations take half of that. I think there's a way to stop that, I thought, with, like, there's a certain settings in there. I never have really checked. Alright, so they kept it something on top, right? Yep. Alright, we're just doing this just to be on the safe side. Because we don't have any counter spells, and if they were to just, like, jam a Teferi, it's like, oh crap, we can't do anything. So that's why we're just firing off an Orange Chant. Orange Chant is pretty much like an instant speed time walk. It's amazing that they actually printed this card for Modern. Alright, I think we can go fetch Shock here. Yeah, we'll go fetch Shock here. Now, if we draw a 5th land here, I think we're definitely in good shape, because then we can go to Teferi and then go Orange Chant for both modes. Oh, and we draw the 5th land, just right on time is what Teferi would say. Excellent. And we know for sure this is resolving. Excellent. Alright. Can't say we are guaranteed to win this since we only have just an Orange Chant, but feeling pretty good about this. Just as long as we make sure to untap our 2 lands, put a stop on our opponent's upkeep, and we'll just do the kicker cost for whatever reason. It's pretty much free at this point, because we just want to make sure that our opponent can't somehow attack one of our planeswalkers for whatever reason. We might be like kind of overthinking that a little bit, but I like to just kind of be cautious about it. Ooh, we were getting planeswalker heavy here. Alright. Oop. That does not cast Narset. We will play Narset. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we have not played a land yet. See what we hit with Narset. Okay, so we got some some options here. 7 minutes on the clock, we do have to be a little concerned. Luckily enough, this is game 3, but opponent has not put anything in the graveyard yet. Could see about hitting another Narset just to dig even further. I am probably not against it, and even if they do have like an Atraxa or whatever, I think we can still manage to beat that. So I think I just like getting a Narset just to give us more options for more card advantage. So I think we can also put Kihira into our hand and use it to pitch with Solitude as well. So we'll do that. Untap these 2 lands. And we can Prismatic Ending a Psychic Frog if they decide to cast 1. But yeah, an Orange Chant, just 1 time, just feels like it just sets your opponent back so much. I mean, if people have always wondered, like, is there a time lock in Modern? There's Orange Chant. 2 mana. I like to call it the 2 mana instant speed time walk. A little bit of a catch to it, though. I mean, if they have planeswalkers or activated abilities, they can do that. But yeah, that's one way to kind of get around it. But yeah, looks like we got round 1 against Espergoria, so we are 1-0 so far. So stick around for round 2. All right. So we are here for round 2, and once again, we are on the play. Our companion right here, so we don't forget. Okay, we're on the play. Unknown opponent, but I think this is a solid hand. Now, if we're up against Boros Energy, it's... oh man, it's really hard to say here, because it's kind of want to sequence our lands to where we can go turn 2 Counterspell, turn 3 Narset. I'm not going to overthink it. I think on the blind we just play the Surveil land, and we'll keep this on top because let's just say we are against Boros Energy. Keeping this 4th land for a Supreme Verdict would kind of come in handy here. Triumph. Interesting. Is this Modern? Oh, this is a Domain Zoo. I'm like, what deck plays Triumphs here? Okay, so this is most likely Domain Zoo. I would assume so. Which I think is also a good matchup for us. So they're likely to play a turn 2 threat here, so I think we'll just lead with a Mystic Gate. I don't know why I like to call this Mystical Gate for some reason. And there's something about it that's also mystical. And we could Orange Chant too, but no reason to. And if our opponent doesn't play anything on turn 2, I think we're in great shape here. Oh wow. Okay. Decks like this just go land go. For us, it's the best case scenario that we can ever have. Alright, now we'll play a fetch land, so now we can hold up Counterspell and then play, or fetch this for a Surveil land. I think what made control decks get a huge boost in Modern is just the Surveil lands. The Surveil lands are just incredible to have. It just sequences our draws, kind of sets us up for our next turn for, like, what we should play around. And it's almost kind of like a draw card in some ways. Well, I guess it's more like a mill. Because if you don't like the card, you can just put it in the graveyard. Alright. So Draco can't really deal with that other than Supreme Verdict, so I kind of do like Counterspell in here. Especially since this deck likes to play Stubborn Denial. And I can see our opponent resolving that Scion and having mana open for Stubborn Denial. Alright, well, speaking of Surveillance, we are going to Surveil end of turn. Since we have our red source, we can successfully get our blue-white one. Alright, another Rapsis, guys. We don't have a whole lot of energy here. I guess the question is if we actually really want to keep the second one. It's hard to say. I probably just want to graveyard this. I mean, we have 2 board wipes as it is anyways. Let's see what we draw here. We draw 5 mana to Fairy. Now we would love to draw our 4th land. Now, they could play Bolt, but if they Bolt our Narset, that's fine. Oops. Let's just make sure we tap right. Alright, Narset resolves. But probably contemplating if they want to respond to the activation, which I think you want to wait until after. Right here we have the option to get to Fairy or Counterspell. I think if they play another Scion, we can just bounce it. But come to think about it, I think we will Orange Chant on their upkeep. see what they do with this fetch. Now, normally on paper I would say, like, okay, I'm ending the turn, passing to you, but I have effects on upkeep. One piece of advice I would probably have with this deck on paper is just don't actually announce that. Try not to announce that on even your end step, saying like, oh, I have effects on your upkeep. Wait until they actually go to untap, because there are steps here in Magic. You have to untap first and then go to the upkeep, and then before your opponent even draws a card, you could say, hey, I have effects on your upkeep. So here, because they wanted to surveil, we don't want to kind of give out, we don't want to expose too much information on paper as much, because then it's like, oh, you have an orange chant, okay, got it. This might influence what I kind of surveil into. So like here, I would go, okay, on your upkeep, on your turn, I'm going to get a plains, I'm going to orange chant, and unfortunately we can't kick her, but here on this board state, we're fine. Now our opponent can't even lightning bolt us here. They can play lands, that's about it. Oh, they have this card in the deck now. Interesting. Wow. Alright. Question is, do we tick down on Narset? Because if they bolt this, then we don't get anything out of it, but we drew this Days Undoing, so a little bit hard to say if it's worth playing or taking down first. I think we'll play a Teferi and see what they do here. They could also have Leyline Binding as well. Looks like they don't, so that's good. Alright, so we'll tick up. And if they want to, what is it? Oh yeah, see, they can't even cast spells. They were supposed to respond to Teferi. Yeah, it looks like they were trying to Leyline Binding here, but they can't. Oops. Our opponent is just going to float a white mana, just because. I think we'll just take down Narset, since now it looks like they actually do have a Leyline Binding. So here, what is Ending going to do? Like, get rid of a Kavu? Maybe this 1-mana bird here. Since we have 2 board wipes here, I think taking an Ending here is fine for us. Now, we didn't draw a 5th land, but I do like having this Days Undoing. But it seems like our opponent's probably going to try to Leyline Bind in one of our Planeswalkers next turn. Not sure which one, but I could see an argument for Narset here. Yeah, so that looks like this is what they were supposed to do in response to Teferi. Speaking of Teferi, it looks like they're actually going to hit our Teferi. So I'm Draco, okay. And this allows us to go Days Undoing next turn, which I think I'm actually going to most likely do here. Would have liked to have had Teferi out, but that's fine. However, we do have the 5th land for Teferi here. We can tuck this too. Actually, we can tuck this, get our Teferi, bounce this. Let's actually try this. I think Days Undoing is probably the best route to do here, but then they are kind of left with these, but of course they have 1 card versus 6 cards in hand. I could kind of see them kind of wiping out most of our Planeswalkers here, but we're going to just kind of try this out just to kind of experiment. I think the correct line is to really Days Undoing when you have like the combo here, Narset and Days Undoing. Now they won't be able to draw that for 2 more turns, or what is it? They'll draw and then we'll have 2 more turns after that. So we'll bounce this back to their hand, draw the Hall. That's fine here. So now hopefully our opponent is not playing something that like Brotherhood's in that kills all our Planeswalkers. That would suck, or we're not going to concede. Yield through this turn. Yeah, we'll concede while we're kind of doing pretty good so far. The reason why I kind of wanted to do this instead is because if we end up still keeping Narset or just all these Planeswalkers on our next turn, then we get to kind of go Days Undoing with our combo here. Now our opponent has kind of a tough decision here, what they want to kill. Looks like they're going to kill 5-mana Teferi, which is surprisingly the worst one that they can actually target. Because here we can actually go take up on Teferi, cast Days Undoing on their draw step. We're actually going to play a Hall, which is actually going to matter here quite a bit. We're not going to put Kihira back into our hand, because then we're going to just shuffle it back in. So, them taking 5-mana Teferi is good for us. Alright, and actually, speaking of which, we are going to actually put a stop on our draw step. I almost forgot to do that. Alright, so they draw, and now we're going to go upkeep, or sorry, draw step, Days Undoing. Also really good here because it shuffles their Flage away too. So, opponent can't really do anything here. So, because they drew, they draw no cards, we draw 7. Sadly enough, our hand's not even all that great. We drew 4 lands, and well, I mean, it's okay here, actually. We have Narset, Counterspell, Marchand. I guess if we were going to draw into any spells, these would probably be the best cards to draw into. So, yeah. But yeah, up a game against Domain Zoo, so now onto sideboarding. Okay. So, we are definitely bringing these Wear and Tears just for ley line, both ley lines, and Scion and Draco. Now, unfortunately, we can't, wear and tear on a Scion because they also have Hexproof, so you have to actually tear the ley line first before you wear. Stern Scolding is kind of bad here because we can't even Stern Scolding a Kavu because Kavu checks for power and toughness in all zones. Celestial Purge is great here because if they have their ley line in the Guild Pact, all their non-lands are treated as red and black. I've actually been able to hit a ley line binding with this, which kind of matters quite a bit. So these 3 cards are coming in. Now what we are taking out is a good question here. This was in my top 4 against Domain Zoo. Of course, our opponent wasn't playing that 1-mana bird, and that actually seems kind of sweet. We're actually going to take out an Azorius Control here. I think here, because we're on the draw, it's a little bit slow. If we do develop the combo with Azorius Control or Chant, it's kind of cool. I mean, that's always our best case scenario, I would say. Still want to keep in Teferi because, surprisingly enough, this deck plays counterspells, decent amount of ways of flashing in stuff, bolts, leyline binding, so I think Teferi is something to actually keep here. 5-mana Teferi might be a little bit slow, so I can kind of see taking this out. They can get pretty aggressive here. We do have to take out 2 cards here, so in this matchup, I kind of just want to take out a 5-mana Teferi, and I kind of like taking out a Narset as well too. A lot of these cards just being on the draw seems a little bit slow for us, so I do like having 5-mana Teferi for certain matchups, but here I am just a little bit wary on it. We do have like Wandering Emperor to close out these games a little bit quicker, and actually against a matchup like this, Wandering Emperor definitely shines quite a bit, so we'll start with this. Still want to keep in like things like Counterspell, Spell Snare, those matter quite a bit. Especially in the late game if they try to like Tribal Flames us. Spell Snare is also a great target for that too. Okay. Pummels down to 6. We are going to keep our 7 here. Let's see, 4 lands. Don't have a way to pitch another white card, but that's fine. As long as I don't have a Ragavan. I spoke too soon. I hate Ragavan. Okay. But we did draw a second white card. Unfortunately, not the white card I would want to draw into. What is it? Not Stubborn Denial, but it's the other card that's at a Dragonstorm. It's counter target spell unless they pay X. So we don't want them to untap, which is the thing. But I think we could do this on. Oh god. So 1, 2 counter unless they pay 1. It's X. It's X in blue. That's what it is. Okay, I'm really overthinking on this card. So I think we can wait for them to go to their attack step because if we I'll do this now, and then they dash in another one. That's just really bad for us. And knowing my luck, my opponent always has the other Ragavan. So they can't play a Scion. And something to note too, they also did not reveal a Leyline. Now, one neat little trick here, we can surveil and kind of control what we surveil. So if it's like a land, we could give that to our opponent. Of course, knowing my luck, my opponent will probably, like if we decide to not surveil, or if we did surveil, it's probably going to be a really good card for us. So I actually just like being able to just get rid of this now while we can. Ragavan's like one of the most annoying cards ever. It's the reason why it's banned in Legacy. I'd rather deal with a Kavu here, which it looks like that's what they're kind of setting it up for. opponent just did not play anything on turn 2. I wonder if that was maybe a misclick. Another Surveil land I'd probably be in the market for. Alright. Yeah, we'll just pass. Yeah, we'll just pass. Unless our opponent has a thing to, like, flash in, I guess. No. Alright. If our opponent just plays a Flage, we won't even counter that. We'll counter it when they try to escape it. Looks like they might be playing a Scion here. Okay. Looks like they have a Scion, and they're leaving their steam vents untapped, which makes me think they probably have a Stubborn Denial. We will like to pretend that they don't, but in this case, we're kind of forced to play this counterspell here. Yeah. Unfortunate, but if we draw a Teferi, then we can just bounce that back. Well, we drew a Norset. Damn. Would have been nice to have had this countered. I think we're still going to throw out the Narset. Kind of absorb 4 damage from this. Oh, well, there's the Teferi right on time. In fact, it was probably going to be our second, or our next draw. So, really good for our opponent, because now it turns on their Stubborn Denials as a 1-mana negate. Are they just going to Tribal Flames? Oh, looks like a... Oh, okay, Fable. That's pretty good. A first strike. Goblin Shaman. So our opponent's fetching. They're just going to Surveil right now. Interesting. They have 2 cards in hand, too. So are they... Okay, yeah. Second Narset. No surprise there. Or... Alright. So what to do here? I think... we can play this Gyre Reach and then have mana open for Tune. I think we'll do that. Oh, still on our draw step. Yeah, we'll play that. Play Teferi here, and I think we will bounce the Shaman since it will just be a actual removal spell. Damn. Kind of getting a little flooded here. Opponent having the ability to draw up to 2 cards here. And we can easily deal with the Scion. But once they play a Leyline, it kind of gets a little bit bad for us. So they play a Kavu. We'd love to see a Supreme Verdict here. I think this is one of the matchups where I think I like having one of Supreme Verdict main because of matchups like this, because Wrathless guys can't really deal with this effectively. Oh wow, they're just going to attack us directly. I always find that a little bit of a slight misplay, because if I were to have drawn a Supreme Verdict here, I could just go instant speed. I mean, I still can, possibly. So we don't want to play a tapped land here, so we want to set up a, let's see, Flooded Strand here. We'll take that so we don't forget. Lands, am I right? Phew. One would say I'm getting Shermaned here. Local, well, used to be a local here in Colorado. Moved out of the States, but we always had the term Sherman because he would always draw lands all the time. I think if he were a Legacy player, I'm sure lands would be his go-to deck. Okay, if we draw a, what was it, Supreme Verdict here, we're in great shape. Oh my god, definitely in great shape if we draw a Supreme. Heck, even a Wrathless guys just to eliminate these 3, but ideally we'd like to get rid of Scion. Oh, okay, so we don't want our opponent to go to combat here. Sure, our opponent could just kill us with a Tribal Flames too. Oh my god, it's Lightning Helix. Let's go. Oh my god, this is why we won the RCQ. Try counterspelling that
you can't. Twice. Oh, that's gonna be the highlight right there. Whew. Yeah. And of course our opponent has a bolt. But that's fine. That was the best draw that we could get there. Holy cow. That felt good. Oh, and we followed up with a Solitude. God, what a draw there. Sure, if I was my opponent, I would be kind of pissed off by that. It's like, oh really? You drew the best card in your deck? Oh my god. Yeah. I think that's kind of the biggest reason why I wanted Supreme Verdict. I think some of these lists that run just Wrath of the Skies, I think is kind of wrong. I think running Supreme Verdict is crucial. You also go up against like things like Murktide, Dimir, Murktide, and Esper. And if you can Supreme Verdict a Murktide, that also feels good too. I think Murktide and Psionic Draco are like some of the few creatures that you don't want to play up against. Just because their mana cost is so high. Now, they could have that denial card for any spell, so we'll try this. Leaving up or it costs one less. Oh, actually, hold up here. It can cost one less for each creature with power 4 or greater, so they could counterspell this. Yeah. Again, this is probably another thing where I'm kind of overthinking this, but I don't want to Stone Cold lose to if that's what they have. It's God, I wish I could remember the name of the card. It's not Stubborn Denial, but it acts like a Stubborn Denial. But it's like counter target spell unless they pay X, but it costs one less for each creature with power 4 or less. So we'll get a Thundering Falls here, which can kind of matter for this Fable if we draw a Prismatic Ending. Orange Chant. I'll definitely keep that on top. Alright, so I think we'll do this on their upkeep here. Because, yeah, it would cost one less, and they can pay an additional mana, so they would make us pay 2. So we're going to have 7 mana open here and leave up 2 mana. So then that way we can play around that card. And if it doesn't get countered, then we can go Orange Chant still in their upkeep. So we'll try this. Oh wait, that was silly. They untap and they can still counter it. Okay. Counter, yeah. But doing this on their upkeep is fine. Oh shit. Overthinking way too much here. Crap. We were supposed to Orange Chant. Tribal Flames? Okay. The Tribal Flames a Solitude and not us. That's good for us. One, two, three, four, five, six. So we could haul and start kind of being down here. Well, since we drew a Plains here, we can actually go haul the Storm Giants, attack, and then Orange Chant. So let's do that. Let's start getting a little bit aggressive here. Opponent with 0 cards in hand. Kind of curious to see what they actually draw into. Because if they draw a deck card, it's really hard to say. If they draw a deck card, then we're in good shape. But if they draw a creature, then they can make a copy of it, and I don't want to kind of go with that. So, or take that chance. They can activate abilities here, which they can't really do anything. So yeah, they'll attack us for 2, at least. Orange Chant? No, just more lands. And they can't Leyline Binding this, which is nice. So this will put them down to 4. We'll archive and see what we draw into. Lorien Revealed, we'll keep that on top, just in case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still not guaranteed to win here, though, but it's stupid Ragavan. Just don't hit a land Oh wait, yeah, we kept the Lorien Revealed on top. That's right. Totally forgot about that. They do have to put... Okay, so... They have no cards in hand now. They got it down to 2. Interesting. But they are gonna tap out to cast Lorien Revealed. I'm gonna hate the Ragavan. To be fair, I still wanted to keep that on top. Alright. Well, our opponent is kind of making a comeback here, so we kind of want to be a little conservative about not dying here, but I think we want to attack with Hall here, because they absolutely have to block. Kind of wish we didn't keep that Lorien Revealed on top now. Alright, so we'll play this land. Have mana open for Tune, and just in case we draw a counterspell. Hey, I mean, we called it with the Supreme Verdict earlier. And oh, I missed one of the messages here. Playing Standard all day today has made me want to quit again. You always come back. What is this? Oh, so are they trying to get haste to 2 creatures here? Because they do. One of them is Ragavan here. I know that. Scion. So they both have haste here. Probably should have tuned in response to the Scion. Alright. Kind of would have been fine with our opponent hitting the Prismatic Ending. Alright, so our opponent could just have a Lightning Bolt here or a Tribal's Flame. Damn. Yeah, they got us. Damn. Even with that top deck Supreme Verdict. That was really good. Good on our opponent. Well, that's unfortunate, because I felt like we were actually winning that, but that Lorien Revealed was great for them. I think that was definitely the turning point for them. Had we not kept that on top, I think we may have been able to win that. We'll see. It's hard to say. Alright, so game 3. Yeah, we'll need to play a little bit faster here since we only have less than 7 minutes left on the clock. Alright, we'll try this. I want to say overall, Domain's kind of a good matchup for us, but it's not always guaranteed. I have lost against this matchup before. Yeah, having a Leyline in hand, that's good. And we can wear that. I think that's one of the reasons why we wanted to keep this. I think we still want to set up our turn with a tap land. Yeah, fetch land, let's go. We'll have 6 here since we're not really doing anything on this turn. But I'm not doing anything on turn 1. Okay, that's good. So I do like... kind of wish this was a blue-white land. I do like being able to orange chant here on turn 2. We'll do that, actually. So again, here's another setup where our opponent would most likely get a Surveil land here. Yep. Set up their turn. We are going to go... Okay, so they're going to keep a card on top. We're going to orange chant them. They got a blue-red land, so that's something to kind of note here. Not sure if we would want to just flat-out jam the Teferi. It's possible that we can. Let's see what we draw first. Did not draw our 3rd land, but I think we still should jam. Or do we be a little bit patient here? What are the chances that they have Bloodman here? I would be surprised. I think we just still get a Holofound here. Chances are, I think this is what gets countered. No, I guess not. All right. Wow. So they have to have removal for this Teferi. So no, yeah, they probably have a Flage here. I still like being able to bounce their Leyline back to their hand. Tribal Flames? Or Lightning Bolt? They gotta have something here for this Teferi. Wow. Nothing, really? Okay, I was like, oh, they're gonna bolt us. Interesting that they bolted us and not Teferi, so... Don't know if I like that. So we have ending to keep this in check. We could also go Leyline, or Orange Chant. Let's just S6 for the turn here. Probably could have just put Kihira if we were just going to Orange Chant. I think we're okay with just letting them just go to their main phase. That's fine. Whew, this is just round 2. Problem with Blue-White, especially here on Magic Online, it's matchups are definitely grindy. Alright, so 2-3. Alright, so less than 5 minutes left on the clock. We need to close this game out. So we do have both endings for both of these creatures. Let's see what they do here. Maybe, let's see, what's that? Weird that this goes at Teferi and not the other. I don't know. We're still going to get rid of these. It's actually kind of a nice addition to Domain Zoo. I wonder if that's what like replaces Wild Mikado. Alright, so if we don't draw a Lantern, let's see. No, but we drew Wandering Emperor. So I kinda... Oh, that's... I think we'll just flash it. Probably just flash it in, maybe. We have this Teferi, so we're not really too worried about any counter spells. If they play a Scion, we can just go wear and tear it, or we can wear it. Looks like they might be, let's see, for 3 here. Oh wow. Play Leyline. That's fine for us. We could even tear this. We'll just slash this in since it looks like they're not going to really do anything on this turn. And for whatever reason, if they have Force Negation, or it would have to be on our turn anyway, so. Cool. Get a 2-2 here. I can just tear that Leyline. Well, we have our 5th land for Solitude. That's good. So we'll make another token. Start with an attack first. I'm already down to 11. Yeah, let's tear the Leyline Binding, and then we can bounce the other Leyline back to their hand and give them the option to recast it. In fact, we'll just probably just Orange Chant on their turn. Yeah. Yeah, we'll pay 3 to put Kihira into our hand. Oh, and this is the best thing with Teferi too, they can't even respond. Or it would be like the only thing I can think of is where they can actually like get around this. Whew, and a Lorien revealed at instant speed we can do. Okay, I think we're in a pretty good spot here. So we'll attack for 5, yeah, because we have 2.5 minutes left on the clock. This is why Wandering Emperor is in the deck. Sweet. Now to our opponent's turn. They have 5 cards in hand, so they could reasonably get out of this pretty well. Tribal Flames. They're not Tribal Flames in us, so that's good.
Flage. What is Flage doing here? Does a Samurai token? I think I just want to get rid of this now. Cool, put our opponent down to 11 here. Almost thought I missed a tap there for a counterspell. Yeah, we wanted to get rid of that Flage just so it stayed permanently exiled. This is getting close. I don't like having to counterspell this, but I think we just have no choice. And if they play a Scion, I think that's okay too. We're not really doing anything here. We have another Teferi, we can bounce whatever creature that they have, as long as it's not really a Flage. Are they just hardcasting their leyline? Because we know of that in their hand. Because it looks like they're having a hard time. Yeah, they're just... Looks like they're admitting defeat here. What is it, 6-9? Yeah. Put a counter here, and then just represent lethal. Do our clicks here, and just make sure we don't misclick here. And I think that will win us the game, because they're at 10. It's a good thing that we actually did counterspell that Tribal Flames. Cool. So we are 2-0. Nice. Alright, we are playing round 3. Alright, choose a 2-1 companion. It looks like we're on the draw. Did I see that right? Okay. Yeah, we'll keep this hand. I think having Prismatic End in here is good to have. Alright, looks like Boros Energy. Yeah, cool. Guile's Souls, which is not the scariest turn 1 creature. So... Yeah, because if this was Ragavan or Opposite Pride, I think we definitely end in here, but because it's Guile's Souls, I'm not too worried about it. I think I'm kind of concerned if they go like turn 2 Ajani. We want a Prismatic Ending that instead, or Prismatic Ending a Goblin Bombardment. Doesn't look like they have the scariest turn so far, so that's fine for us. We will still get a blue-white land here. Orange Chant, yeah, I'm in the market for. Now here's a scenario where we can actually Orange Chant. It would actually be kind of good. If we got Orange Chant, because we can go ending here, get rid of the Goblin Bombardment, but then they play one of their a new threat that we have to face. So I think if we got Orange Chant on their turn, we can go to Fairy on the next turn, bounce maybe the Guile Souls or maybe Goblin Bombardment. Kind of tough here. This is really one of those matchups where I wish I was on the play here. Really kind of contemplating on what I want to do here, because we definitely have options here. I kind of want to deal with this Goblin Bombardment. Also kind of want to deal with Guile Souls. Oh, actually, you know what? We played the wrong land then, if that's the case. We could have set up a scenario. Damn it. Yeah, we could have played a Plains, gone Ending, and then gone Orange Chant, and then set up our next turn to go to Fairy or Narset, and then they're a little bit behind here. So I think given this error here, I think we go
Prismatic ending this. Yeah, I didn't really see that line of play here. Oh god, I am so stupid. I tapped for double white. Wow. That should be exiled. Ugh. Of course, against Boros Energy. That was really bad. This should not be on the battlefield. Oh my god. That might be the first time I've ever done Prismatic Ending where it just does absolutely nothing. Of course, our opponent's like, oh, you must be new to the game. Yeah. Haha, our opponent. Yeah. Go. Of course, against Boros Energy, that can just be so frustrating to play against. So, we'll play Teferi here, and if they want to sacrifice their Guile Souls to kill off our Teferi, that's fine. Feels like they're kind of all in on this Guile Souls, which is kind of funny too. Okay. So they let it resolve. Yeah. So even this Goblin Bombardment should not be on the battlefield. Ugh. So frustrating. Of course, this will still be part of the recording. It's not... yeah, playing Magic Online versus paper. I mean, there's a reason why I like playing paper Magic more. This would not happen in real life. Wow. What do they have in their hand? Because there's like nothing going on over there. Okay, I guess despite our misplay here, I think we're actually kind of in reasonable shape here. Wondering why I was shadowing over Narset for some reason. So we do want to take down Narset. Get an Orange Chant here. Yeah, get an Orange Chant. And then do this on their upkeep. Cool. Yeah. Goblin Bombardment should not be on the battlefield, whatever, but it is what it is. But our opponent has a really slow start with Boros Energy here. I don't know what they kept over there. So we'll play Orange Chant, no kicker, so they can attack this Teferi, and then if they want to kill off the Teferi, they would have to sacrifice their Guile Souls to do so. Okay, so they're actually going to attack at Narset. That's fine. Yeah, so we'll set up our Days Undoing plan here. And we also have this Gyre Reach, so I think we're likely to win Game 1 here against Boros Energy, despite our punt with ending, which I don't think I have ever done. So yeah, we won't cash in the Narset. So I think once again we will do this on their draw step, so we'll put a stop on their draw. We could even go Wrath this guy is for X's 3 or whatever, kill both of these things. I think we're in a better spot if we actually just go... well, we could actually go... Actually, here's a better line here. We get rid of both of these cards, and then we also have 1 mana open for Orange Chance, so I'd rather have an empty board here. So let's actually do that. It would deplete our energy here, but that's fine. I mean, again, this Goblin Bombardment should not be on the battlefield. So we'll Orange Chant. Our opponent can still attack, of course. We'll let our opponent go to attacks and kind of decide where they want to send this at. Probably Narset. Yep. They have no energy, so there's really no point of slow rolling this. Cool. Now let's actually not misclick here. We've already messed up once, so we don't need to do this again. Opponent can respond to sacrificing their Guile Souls here. So I think that's what they're kind of thinking of. Okay, so they're going to do that. Now here, even if we did misclick, I actually would be okay with just gaining 2 energy, but probably just getting rid of this Goblin Bombardment would probably just be best to do anyways. And they can't cast spells for this turn, so we're in great shape here. player land tapped here. Take up onto Fairy. Don't cash into Narset. Of course, we could have actually shocked here and then done Gyre Reach. It's one thing I could have considered, but I didn't really think about it. But we're just going to let them go to their draw step. Go Days Undoing. And now they have no cards in hand, and we have 7. And I think here we're most likely to win. Okay, yeah. Our opponent sees the writing on the wall. I don't think they want us to kind of play solitaire here. So, cool. Up a game against Boros Energy. That's a plus since this is still one of the best decks in the format. So our sideboard in here is pretty light. We're only bringing in Celestial Purge and Stern Scolding. In for this matchup, surprisingly enough, Azorius Control Chant is pretty effective here, especially in game 1, as long as they don't have the 1-mana Oblivion Ring card. What we're taking out here, we're actually going to take out a bit of the combo here. It's a little bit slow. There's probably an argument for even taking out Teferi. We can actually probably do something like this instead. Like actually take out Teferi and kind of stick with the Narset Days Undoing plan, if we're kind of more on that side of things. Spell Snare, yeah, Spell Snare we definitely want to keep in for this matchup. The only thing I can almost see here is like taking out the Teferis, since they have a lot of ETBs. It's not all that kind of effective, but I still like having Teferis just being able to stop like any instant speed shenanigans here, especially since they can kind of disrupt it with Galvanic Discharge. So we'll actually keep this and kind of go from here. 5-mana Teferi can be just a bit slow, especially since we're on the draw. I think overall Teferi is a great card to still have in these blue-white control decks. I actually almost thought about not playing it, but the times that it does come up, when you do draw your 5-mana Teferi on an empty board state, it's definitely one of your best draws. Cool. God, this is a great hand if we're on the play. A little skeptical on it, especially since our opponent could just lead with a turn 1 Ragavan or Offset Pride, but I still want to at least keep this and kind of hope that they don't have that. Okay, so they have Pride. I'd rather deal with that than Ragavan. Alright, so lead with Pluto Delta. And we do play like Wrath of Skies, so it does give us some time to deal with this Pride. We can even eventually like bounce it back with Teferi. Wow, they have no turn 2 play. Interesting. Alright. Surveil, let's see what we keep on top. A Spell Snare. So we already have a Spell Snare and a Stern Scolding. I kind of just want to put this back since our opponent didn't play a turn 2 threat. Now, I don't know if our opponent's playing actual Blood Moon in this deck, so I'd hate to kind of just straight up lose to a Blood Moon. So I think we'll just... we'll have a Flooded Strand out just in play just in case they do set up a turn 3 Blood Moon. These decks usually play Blood Moon, or not Blood Moon, but Molten Rains. But I just want to be kind of cautious here, since they did lead with just turn 1 Plains. Well, this is why we run Stern Scolding in the deck. Or at least in the sideboard. So they must have drawn that for the turn. I really don't know if I should be playing around Blood Moon. I actually just want to be able to just like surveil and see if we can try to draw into Wrath of Skies. I mean, we have double planes here anyways. Yeah, Prismatic Ending we'll definitely keep. And they do have 2 cat tokens, kind of unfortunate, but better than them getting more cat tokens. So we will... Oops. I think we'll... This would for sure get rid of it. Can't believe we did that last game though. Alright, we'll just have a tapped Thundering Falls. Yeah, we'll keep that on top. Just hope there's no Ragavan. My luck, there will probably be one. Yeah, Supreme Verdict being probably a great draw for us here. Let's see what they also play. Would not be surprised if we see a Ragavan here. I knew they had a Blood Moon. God. And we should have just fetched the freaking island. Well, if we had an island here, we would have been in great shape. Yeah, they got us good with the Blood Moon. But we do have double planes. And we do have 3 islands and what is it, Lorien revealed, so we can try to deal with this, hopefully. So we got some draws here. Narset not being one of them. Probably shouldn't even play the basic planes. Yeah, if we... Alright, well, now that we know about Blood Moon, we can actually fetch accordingly. So we have this turn to draw an island, or Lorien revealed. We do not. Alright. Or even a Wrath of Skies. Wrath of Skies would have been another great draw there. Yep. Yep, I kind of called it. I feel like I've been kind of calling most of these cards in this league. Now, we could bring in Wear and Tear for not just Goblin Bombardment, but also Blood Moon. I don't think I really want to, though. Yeah, even drawing... We had some solid draws there, if I'm being honest. Like, even a Celestial Purge, getting rid of Blood Moon would have been great. And then we could have, like, Supreme Verdicts. Yeah, we had a lot of good draws there. Fortunately, it did not pan out. I think it's fine. We'll still keep this. Anyway, like, once we played the turn 2 fetch land there and got a, what was it, a Surveil land, I was like, I'm sure they have a Blood Moon. But most of the Boros matchups I've been playing against, they've been running Molten Rain. So I would kind of expect more Molten Rains than Blood Moons. So here's a matchup where I think we're okay to keep this. It's kind of a weird one, I will say, but we do have what is it, turn 1 Surveil land to set up our draw. Which here we go. So here, if they play like a turn 1 Ragavan, turn 1 creature, we can at least ending whatever creature they play and then spell snare the next card. See, if this was a Guile Souls, I don't think I even care about using ending. In fact, I would probably even lead with a Meticulous Archive. Alright. Now this is kind of an awkward spot here because I kind of do want to play Archive. I think I don't really care about them having 1 token. But if we end in this, and we spell snare the next, the reason why we just kind of want to lead with an Archive is because we want to hold up Counterspell in case we lose to like a Blood Moon again, and I just don't want to take that chance. So, Bloodstrand on top, which is good because that actually does get us a basic island. Opponent could also just play around Spell Snare. Yeah, this is something I didn't really think about too, is they could just play an Opposite of Pride. God, this card is so annoying. Alright. I think I still want to get rid of one of these. Pass to our opponent. Would love to see a Wrath of Skies. Yeah, this matchup is where, yeah, I would have loved to have seen like a Wrath of Skies over the Supreme Verdict that we had in that last game. But I think overall I would still play one of Supreme Verdicts. Just one of those rare scenarios where I think, yeah, Wrath of Skies would have been better there. Ooh. Yeah, I'd like to counter this, actually. And just make them pay 5 mana. so... Alright, we drew a Supreme Verdict, and I think a timely one here, too. Because now we can actually fetch an island. And even if we do get Blood Moon, we can go to Fairy, bounce it back. So... I guess the question is if we play a Teferi, tick up, because if they kill our Teferi, like Discharge and Blood Moon, then we can't play our Supreme Verdict, so I think I'd rather just be in this spot to just Supreme Verdict. I don't like it, but I feel like we just have no choice and kind of have to just jam. This definitely isn't an easy matchup for us. Okay, so they do play a Blood Moon and followed up with a Oscillate Pride again. But we drew a basic Plains. That's actually not bad. Well, kind of wish we had Wrath of Skies now. I guess if we draw a counterspell here, then we can counterspell the Blood Moon. We could also Teferi bounces back to our opponent's hand. I don't know what's safe here. Because we could have left a basic Plains open. Watch me draw a Prismatic End in here. Feels like if we bounce this, it's still no different. Bounce. Arena, it does shut off the Arena of Glory, so let's actually bounce here. Alright. Okay, so they discharge that. Aurora, that's also another good draw. 2, 3, 4. Alright, so we'll just pass. And I think end step will bounce the Blood Moon back to their hand. So we won't bounce the Obsolete Pride here. Opponent limited to playing just one white spell a turn. Ragavan. No, I guess it still doesn't make much of a difference here. Bounces back. This allows us to play our Narset. See what we draw here. Basic Island. I will take it. Now I'd love to hit a Wrath of Skies here. Alright, so they discharge Narset. They're doing that in response. Alright. Oh man. Days on Dune would have been great there, but alright. So we know that they have a Blood Moon in hand and one mystery card. So I think we just want to go Wrath of Skies X 1 and then hold a Spell Snare. Guess we should have left open an island. If our opponent's smart, I think they'll try to play a Blood Moon if they have a threat of some kind. X is 1. Cool. Pass the turn. Ooh, Showdown. That's an interesting one to see. Wow, they have some stuff next turn, so I think they'll probably try to lead with a Voice of Victory, so we'll try to Spell Snare that. Their 4th Pride, jeez. Can't take a break from these. We do have our companion, though. Something to actually note. Draw Lorien Reveal, that's good. I should cast that now. Alright. So they have a Blood Moon and some mystery card in hand. We could... These cards are exiled, so we need to... I'd love to see a Narset. Alright, so... Okay, this is on the stack. Okay, got it. Yeah, we'll spell center that. I think that's smarter of our opponent to lead with Voice of Victory, obviously. Yeah, our opponent can just kill us next turn. So we could, well, maybe not next turn. We would have to kind of emergency Days Undoing this, so they don't cast their Flage from the graveyard. Yeah, they could just straight up kill us next turn. Let's see what we draw. Go Orange Champ. Well, we could go Azorius Scepter Purge. That is a thing we can do. And let's see, they can put a counter. Ugh. I really do. So they have a Blood Moon and some other unknown card. So what is our opponent most likely to do here? They're probably going to bring back Flage. We can exile it with Celestial Purge. I think we almost have to wait a turn, because if we draw an Orange Champ, we're in really good shape here. And Days Undoing is basically one of those like break in case of an emergency. 1, 2, 3, 6. So we have enough to buy back Kira, cast it, and then play Celestial Purge. We could even Celestial Purge this, but then we just die to this Flage. They get a counter on this, counter on there. So yeah, I think we just have to just kind of use our Days Undoing next turn. And just break in case of an emergency. Because I would think our opponent's going to maybe try to win with this Flage. Let's see, I'm kind of curious. Alright, so they have Blood Moon in hand. I think here they have to fetch Shock, because I think these decks only run 2 planes. Alright. Or wait, I think our opponent just gets us. Oh wait, yeah. No. No, because they have to kill this Kahira. Okay, I thought they were targeting their cat token there for a second. Alright. I'll just do this now before I forget to, like, do something. Go to their combat and then they attack with Flage on accident. Alright, so Orange Champ. No. Damn. Yeah, we could have tried to do the Azorius Scepter Orange Champ, or Azorius Scepter Purge there, but not really doing a whole lot here. So, yeah, this is one of those, like, break in case of an emergency. 5. We can try to... Oh no, we can't even get this with Orange Champ, so we just have to... We have to break this. Now, if we draw an Orange Champ with these cards, then we can survive for hopefully a turn. So let's... Yeah, spin the wheel. Alright. So we're 1 mana shy to activate this, so we have to kicker this. Yeah, really, really unfortunate here. Being at 2 life, they can just kill us with a Flage, and that's it. With 7 cards in their hand, I would not be surprised. Alright, well, we drew a counterspell, but yeah, they give 3 cards in the graveyard. Okay, 2 on the stack. Right? Yeah, Ice is 2. Interesting. I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit quiet here, because once again we're kind of at low time, but also just trying to play a little bit cautiously here. So we'll only counterspell things that either have haste or is flage. Of course, I think our opponent still kills us with a flage. Even a Molten Rain kills us. That's funny. We have to counterspell this. Yeah, I think we're dead. Haste. Oh yeah, even with Reign of Glory. Yeah, we're dead. Damn. What a game. But yeah, sometimes you just have to break the Breaking Gaze of Emergency with Daze Undoing. We drew a reasonable hand. It's just the problem is we were at such a low life total. Alright, so we are on the draw. How do we feel about this hand? Nice poker hand here. Well, if we're up against energy again, I guess ending into double counterspell is kind of good. We'll try this. Blue Delta. We're gonna get Thoughtseize, aren't we? I am so good at calling these cards tonight. It's almost like I played Modern. I think if we're our opponent, we're probably taking maybe a counterspell here. Counterspell or Narset. Could see the ending if they are setting up their turn 2 Psychic Frog. One's definitely in the tank. Okay, so they are taking ending, which makes me think they have a Psychic Frog next turn. I think if that's the case, if I was this player right here, I feel like that's probably what I would do too. I can't even if I draw a Spell Snare here, I can't even play it effectively. Well, I hate having to just reveal this Arid Mesa, but we'll do it anyways. Oh, is this another Goryo's Vengeance matchup? Oh, okay, this is Esper Blink then. Okay. Well, let's let our opponent go to combat first. We'll bend that, I think. Of course, I could see myself getting punished for that. So we'll play Mystic Gate, so then we have double counterspell. This card's not too scary. Oh, we have a Wrath Disguise. That's a good one. Hey, what's the record? The record is 2-1. We just lost to Boros Energy, sadly. I think like I was saying in the chat, we won game 1 because they had an incredibly slow start. We kind of punted a little bit with a Prismatic ending where we went double white on a Goblin Bombardment. Oh. And also thank you for the follow. But yeah, we didn't fetch a basic island like I should have said, or what I should have done. But I don't think a lot of Boros Energy players play Blood Moon. I was just kind of expecting like more Molten Rains than anything else. But yeah, 2-1. We have won against Esper Goryo and Domain Zoo. And right now we're playing against what looks like Esper Blink. I would assume is Esper Blink. Wow. So they missed their third land drop. Okay, so we'll play this plane since they know that's something in hand from their Thoughtseize. Could try to jam a Narset. I don't think any Esper Blink decks play any counterspells here. Oops. Could also be Goryo's. I don't think so. Emperor Bones is usually a card I see in Blink most of the time. And since they missed a third land drop, I'm kind of expecting, let's see, if they play a turn 2 play, we can just follow it up with Wrath Disguise. So let's actually jam with a Narset here. Yeah, this was Goryo's Vengeance, then they probably would have played a Tainted Indulgence, so I bet it's on Blink. Yeah, it's most likely, which Blink is a great matchup for us. Now, we could take this ending to deal with the Emperor Bones, but I like being able to potentially set up our turn 5 to Fairy. So we'll do that. Okay, so I guess it is Esper... Oh, never mind. I guess it is Espergorio. Oops. I think our opponent was supposed to do that at the beginning of combat. Okay. Never mind. We bet it wrong. So I guess we're up against another Espergorio. Darn, I was really hoping our opponent would pay 7 life before they killed the Narset. Yeah, just the way they were setting it up, it kind of really did look like it was Esper Blink. Because if they played like Ophelia or something like that, I'm not really too worried about it. Yeah, we were definitely wrong on that. Okay, so the Grizzlebrand's going to get exiled. They're down to 5 life. They have to discard a bunch of cards, which would not surprise me if they're putting more fatties in the graveyard. Luckily enough, we have double counterspell here. Alright, so they discard a... So they don't really have much in their hand. I would say they have, like, maybe a Force Negation. Alright, so we drew our 5th land for Teferi. Okay. I still like playing another Narset here. Because if this resolves, it looks like it does. Oh, we can set it up with a Orange Chant. We did not. We did not. Oh, that Emperor Bones is a 4/4, so the stays I'm doing seems a little awkward. So we'll just get Tune. We don't want exactly F6 here, because if we draw a Solitude, we may want to consider going Solitude, pitching the Wrath Disguise or Teferi. Alright, so opponent's attacking Narset, we will respond with a Tune. Oh, wow. I'm so good at top decking the cards I'm asking for. Why didn't that happen in Boros Energy, though? Okay. Now the question is, do we actually get rid of this? I think so too, because Wrath Disguise is not really doing anything in this matchup anyways. Would have liked to have seen that last turn. Cool. Now we can just F6. Yeah, they Ephemerate, that's fine. Psychic Frog. Now we could have saved the Solitude for that. Or Wrath Disguise, too. Yeah. Spring Verdict? Nope. What do we did bottom a Wrath Disguise, so we might want to just, like, fetch first. And we get rewarded. Now, oh wait, we have 2 energy, so we can safely have Counterspell mana backup. They have back-to-back Force Negation, that's kind of unfortunate, but they have to pitch a total of 4 cards to do that. So let's do this. They know that we have 2 counterspells. Alright, so X is 1. If this resolves, cool, and it did. Play for 2. Excellent. And we still have a Narset in play. Alright, and they can't rebound. So that just stays in exile. So, good note here, they do have a Grizzlebrand that they can Glorious Vengeance. We won't counter that. I feel like that's a counterspell bait right there. what did they get? Okay, Ephemerate. So they had their choice between Ephemerate or Titan Indulgence. They have mana open for Force Negation, from what it looks like, so I don't think we'll be jamming this to Fairy just yet. Oh, we do it? Oh, no. Yeah, I think we'll be patient here. I'd like to kind of buy back Kihira here. We could buy back Kihira and have 3 mana open. And that would have us have Spell Snare and Counterspell open. Ooh, so Philology can actually kill this Narset. I wonder if they'll try to Ephemerate on their upkeep. Let's see here. I feel like a lot of things just happened that turn. Alright, so they are going to exile it. Have their option if they want to put a card back. Looks like they'll probably get another... Oh wait, this is... Oh, these are their 3 new cards. Okay. Oh, cool. So they got Gorya's Vengeance. Yeah, it was a 1/4, and now it's back to a 0/3, so they can't kill this Narset, so that's something to kind of note there. So they have a Gorya's Vengeance in hand. Got, what is it, a Gorya's Vengeance and an Ephemerate is what we know of. So if they have a Force Negation, they could have 2 Force Negations and just tap out, or just tap it like normal. See if we draw a land. We do. So I guess since I'm really good at calling these cards right off the top, 1, 2, 5, 7, we can go to Fairy Counterspell. I think we still play the slow game here though. 4 mana. So one would probably assume like, yeah, you probably just want to go to Fairy, like Counterspell here. Problem is though, if we go to Fairy and they go Force Negation, we go Counterspell, they can go Gorya's Vengeance. Problem is they draw 7. They can just get their Grizzlebrand. It does get exiled, but then they draw 7 new cards. So I kind of just want to play the slow game here. In fact, I might just want to wait one more turn. If we draw another land, then we can go Counterspell and Spell Snare to kind of have protection for that. What is this here? Oh, just hardcasting a Solitude. I think we'll Counterspell this one since we do have 2 Counterspells here. Oh. And actually, tapping Plains and Mystic Gate would have been better here. For what it's worth. Oh, yeah, duh. Well, they can draw a card, but yeah, you're right. I was thinking for some reason my Narset was just gone. I wasn't even kind of thinking about that. Okay. So, yeah, we're for sure gonna Spell Snare this. Alright. Yeah, you are right. I guess if they tried to do that, then, yeah, they get Grizzlebrand, they would draw a card, but they would not draw the other 6. So actually, kind of knowing that now, let's see what we draw here. Draw a Lorien Rebuild. Okay, but I still think, yeah, I think we probably should have just done this last turn anyway, so we will just set up, we'll just play it to Fairy. Resolves. That's great for us. No Force Negation. Gorya's Vengeance now. Interesting. Normally I would actually counterspell this, but because this is on their main phase, that's fine. That's actually fine for us. They are at 3 life. Yeah. They can't even pay with Grizzlebrand. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely not being as observant, but it's also getting kind of late in the night too. I normally don't play blue-white control on paper at late nights like this. Or this late in the night. That's why I play this stuff during the day where I can actually think. Yeah, so I feel like that was kind of a misplay for our opponent. Yeah, our opponent can't pay life with the Grizzlebrand, so they just brought this back for nothing. Well, actually, they do have, what was it? Don't they have an Ephemerate in hand? And we have just counterspelled the Ephemerate, yeah. I was gonna say, we have that, but they just tapped out. Oh, what is going on with our opponent here? So they'll draw a card and discard 2. Okay. Are they just trying to make us tap out, I guess? Or misclick on our 2 land on tap? Huh. That was a strange turn then. Yeah, so we know that they have Ephemerate in hand, and now they just drew a mystery card. So, it's one of the reasons why I kind of like the stream here, too, because I can't say that, like, I play blue-white control perfectly, but, like, you guys just in the chat just kind of giving me this, like, helpful advice really does help out quite a bit. Now, I know, like, in a tournament, like, even in RCQ, like, obviously couldn't do this. Oh, yeah, we definitely counterspell this. But it helps out tremendously just knowing, like, oh my god, what I should be doing. Does them have this? Yeah, I noticed that too. I think they have a Leyline Binding, so this is like the 5-color build. So the first one that we played against was the Esper Goria's Vengeance. This one looks like a 5-color build. Some prey opponent, yeah. Yeah, they were kind of hoping that we would just kind of misclick there. Luckily enough, Narset does get around, or I'm sorry, luckily enough, Atraxa gets around Narset, so they can actually pick up more than just 1 card. Cool. So, whoa. I'm just flashing a bunch of cards here. So we're gonna do probably the similar thing that we did. We're gonna take out our Wraps and 2 Prismatic Endings, or what did we take out originally? Because I think in our last matchup we had 3 Prismatic Endings. I think we took out an Azorius Scepter. Yeah, actually, no, since they're actually on the Leyline Binding plan, I think I kind of just want to get rid of that and put in Prismatic Ending. Keep a Prismatic Ending. Azorius Scepter Chant combo here is good, but I think they have a lot of ways to kind of interact at instant speeds. Goria's Vengeance or Leyline Binding. I think I'm okay with just taking out Scepter here. Chant, though, by itself is still great. But we do want to keep, like, a mental note, though. If we do it on upkeep, they can go Goria's Vengeance, and if we don't pay the paper cost, they can also attack, too. I'm not sure. Scolding gets around, gets Arculus and Emperor. True. I don't know. Well, and Psychic Frog. Keep that in mind. It does get rid of target Psychic Frog, so maybe we do something like this, I think. We probably bring in these 6 cards. Stern Scolding, I would probably just bring this in just for Psychic Frog by itself. And Solitude. That's true. Actually, okay. Yeah, I'm still on Stern Scolding then. So let's do this. Let's see how this checks. I want to keep in 2 endings because in our last round against, or what is it? Against our last matchup against Esper Goria, we did play against like some Teferius, so we want to be able to have ways to deal with that. Alright. Kind of a weird hand here, but luckily enough, this is why we play Mystic Gate, just to kind of filter double blue for counterspell. Or basically everything in our hand here, so I think this is a keep. It did reveal our companion. Okay, good. Lead with a basic Plains card and pass. Make our opponent think we're going to Orange Chant. I think if I did have an Orange Chant, I would actually jam it here. This is an example of aggressively using an Orange Chant, because they could just go turn 2 Psychic Frog. That's fine. Well, I mean, sorry, it's not fine. So if we Orange Chant on their upkeep, let's just assume if we had one here, we can go Orange Chant. They just play a land, go. But then we held up Counterspell mana for turn 2. Luckily enough, they didn't play anything on turn 2, so that's good. I like the draw go game. I think we're still gonna play a Mystic Gate because I really like these fetch lands to be more surveil lands. We're gonna F6 because I don't think we get punished for anything here. Tainted Indulgence, sure. We're not gonna counterspell that. I don't think we would. I don't think so. Why they discard a Spell Snare? Interesting. Natsu's. Huh. So they discarded a Spell Snare, Wonder if they have another one in hand. If we don't counterspell this, I wonder what they take here. I could see taking out Narset or Counterspell or Wandering Emperor. A lot of good choices for our opponent. They could also have Mystical Dispute open. I think I want our opponent to really take the Counterspell if they're really worried about that, so I think we'll let it resolve. I don't like having to expose my hand. They have a Hallowed Fountain untapped, so I could represent either another Spell Snare or Mystical Dispute. They can't force negation since it's on their turn. But if we try to play it, let's just say they take the Counterspell, we can try to play Narset next turn, and then they can force negation there or Mystical Dispute. See what they take. Also, we'll see what we draw too. Because if we draw a counterspell, if they discard our counterspell and we draw another counterspell, then we'll just play land and pass. But looks like they just took the Wandering Emperor. Probably the best one to actually take. Kind of bummed to see that discarded, but that's totally reasonable. Alright, so we drew another Narset. I don't think I want to throw out a Narset just yet. Since they have 2 mana open, they could have Counterspell of their own, they could have Dovin's Veto. Would not be surprised to see Dovin's Veto. Dovin's Veto is actually a card I thought about having in the sideboard over like Mystical Dispute. That was one thing I kind of considered. Not against it, honestly, but Mystical Dispute does kind of come up more often. Can also counter a Psychic Frog or Oculus, Murktide, Teferi. Let's see, Philogy, we're not counterspelling that. I did not hold up a white mana open. So we could Solitude this if we wanted to. They don't have any scary threats in their graveyard, so kind of feel like I want to jam this Narset. Yeah, we'll keep the island on top. Sets us up for turn. Gets us our 5th land here. Let's see. So if they have a Spell Snare, they can't Spell Snare the Narset, but they can Spell Snare a Counterspell. And we know that they have an Ephemerate, so let's just try jamming a Narset here. Wouldn't be surprised if this is a Mystical Dispute. Cool. There is an argument to probably just like wait a turn where we can go Narset and hold up Counterspell. But because we have another Narset, I feel like I kind of want to try to go Narset next turn and then Counterspell. Alright. So they have a Psychic Frog. And here I think they probably would have, like, I don't know, we could have held up mana to go Counterspell the Psychic Frog, they Mystical Dispute. I guess that would incentivize them to tap out. So we're not going to pitch our Solitude to Solitude this right now since they do have an Ephemerate. So what we draw here, hopefully another white card. We could also just buy back our Kihira. Alright, so they know of our hand. So they know that we have this Gyre Reach, so we'll play the Gyre Reach. 3... Or wait, play this. Okay, so yeah, we can play this. This filters double blue, and then we have 2 mana open for that. Definitely have some options here, because I think I want to kind of buy back Kihira here. They have 1 mana open. I just don't know what cards they have in their hand, because they have some fatties with a Gorya's Vengeance that's not in a good spot to do that. So I do like this, because then we have another Solitude left in our hand. So they have double white, and I know for sure they have an Ephemerate. The question is if they have 2 Ephemerates. God. since they're actually doing that. Let's see, I told you I was playing this at level 7 yesterday, and the blue-white matchup seems very good from my side. How do you view the matchup? I think it's mostly favored for us. I don't know about this version, where they're playing like 5 colors. I guess maybe less counterspells. I played very little against this matchup, so I mean, I would say like, what was it? I have played against this at one of the locals at Total Escape. I want to say we're probably currently 2-0 against this matchup, so yeah, I would say overall we're mostly favored. Our sideboard gets a little bit better, especially if we have like things like Ashiok. Ashiok here would be great for future like fetch lands, mill their graveyard or mill their deck into their graveyard and then exile it. Yeah, I would probably say that in short, I think overall the matchup's great for us. But I never played the matchup until I switched to Goryeo side. Yeah, like Esper Goryeo can play like also play at control speed. Like Goryeo's Vengeance being at instant speed, and then just you can do it at their end step, get a creature, attack with it. It can be a little bit tricky for us. But I would probably say overall this is a good match. I think this is a fine matchup for us. I think I'd rather play against this than maybe Boros Energy, I would say. F Boros Energy. So they hold up mana for 3 here. Let's see. I think I just want to just play land go here. God, is this game 2? I don't even know if this is game 2. Yeah, this is game 2. Holy shit. Titan Indulgence, we're not counter. Okay, so they put a Grizzlebrand in the graveyard. I was like, why is our Kahira like not being revealed in our companion zone? Okay. And they did not hold up mana for the Ephemerate. I think I'm fine with this. See what they try to exile. Alright. Yeah, they didn't pull up white mana for Emperor Bones, so this makes me want to just hardcast a Solitude. I think that might have been a misplay for our opponent. So we don't need to end in this Villagy. Alright. Cool, 13 to 22. We could try to end in the Villagy. Come to think about it now, because then it prevents them from having to cast their Ephemerate on it and getting some card draw out of it. 3, 7, so we can just kind of cast this all. At the same time, I don't think I'm really too worried about it. Wow, kind of tapped a little bit poor there. Especially if we draw like a double counterspell here. Let's see, we have our choice between Teferi and Purge. I think I like hit in a Teferi here. We'll just pass. They're kind of stuck on mana here anyways. We also have this guy Reach, so we can also force them to basically discard a card if they don't really do anything else here. Opponent playing a Goryeo's Vengeance targeting Grizzlebrand, we're obviously going to counterspell this. Now, once again, we kind of tapped a little bit poor here. I would suspect this is maybe a Mystical Dispute. Or Spell Snare. Cool. Yeah, I think if we tapped a little bit different there, our opponent probably would have been a little hesitant to maybe like do this. Oh, yeah, I guess we could have got Celestial Purge for this. Okay. Well, they keep the Grizzlebrand. No surprise there, but we do have this Teferi, which we can't bounce, and if they want to pay 7 life, that's would put him down to 4. Alright, so we drew this into this to filter. They'd have to have double Force Negation here. They do not. Alright, an Orange Chant. Not bad. Do they have any other creatures in their graveyard? Any big ones, I should say? They do have 2 Atraxas, so... Alright. I think we will, just to be cautious, since they do have 2 Atraxas, we're down to Orange Chant on their upkeep. Now this doesn't... well, wait, does this actually stop in rebound? That's right, it does. Because it's an ability, not a spell. Okay, cool. It does fizzle Ephemerate. I feel like I should kind of know that. It's good to know. Excellent. So we drew a Solitude, which can answer one of those Atraxas. I was going to block. Can't Ephemerate. We'll take up, so we can instant speed end in here. Pass. Have to be a little cautious of the time once again. It's definitely a long league. That's blue-white control for you. So opponent's going to Gorya's Vengeance. No surprise, they're going to get Atraxa. Is there any reason to respond to this? No. Alright, so they get us. Kind of curious on what they get here. So they obviously get land, creature, instant. That's it. So 3 cards. So I guess they have to be a little cautious on what they take here. I think I would expect them to get a what is that? Gorya's Vengeance. Solitude, and some land here, I guess. Gorya's Vengeance, Henge, and Psychic Frog, so they don't take the Solitude. Now I think we have to Solitude here, because if they try to Gorya's Vengeance on this turn again, let's see, 1, 2, we really just want to keep this Teferi around. Of course, they're getting a bunch of life off of this. Yeah, so they Gorya's Vengeance now. So they have Psychic Frog. Was it Polluted Delta is what they got? Maze. Okay, so this is what they have in hand. Or at least known cards in hand. Okay, so the Orange Chant here. Attack for 6. Now, if we had the Teferi out on the battlefield, I could send Orange Chant in here, but don't think we do. And then they can Azorius Vengeance here. Does that even matter? What the heck? Oh, what is... Oh shit, we tapped wrong. God damn it. Island this. God. We wanted to henge here so we can actually find a planeswalker. I think the 5-color build is maybe a little bit rougher for us. Esper, I think, just straight up, I think is... I think we're best against Esper. This 5-color build, maybe not so much. So what did they do? Teferi bounced one of these Solitudes? That's fine. Well, totally screwed up with tapping the mana there. So we can try to kill this Teferi. We knew we had the Gloria's Vengeance. And this, yeah, okay, we just straight up lose this. Damn. Yeah, that was just game 2. Holy shit. Yeah, we're just gonna concede this one. Go. Alright. Probably just getting a little bit rusty right now just because it's just getting really late in the night. I don't know, that's probably a poor excuse here, but boy. Won the dice roll. I don't know. See if we can try to win in 3 minutes here. Why not? Problem is, like, we can go days on doing Narset combo. It still doesn't guarantee that we win. Damn. Yeah, opponent really got us good there. So probably a Psychic Frog here. Can't force a negation that. Times like this, I kind of wish we were splashing black for things like Psychic Frog, just so I kind of close out these games. Speaking of which, we might want to hold this up. Damn. Really wish this was a second blue source. Yeah, most likely gonna go 2-2 here, but it is what it is. Play to our outs here. Don't think this is gonna resolve, but we'll try it anyways. I would be shocked if we actually win this in less than 2 minutes. If we were like on Jeskai here, then this is much better for us. Oh, catch mouse. See, now I would think our opponent would just be like on blink all of a sudden. Yeah, we've kind of done too much, so we're just gonna call that as a loss. And for approach, yeah, that's kind of the problem with the deck too. Is like I played against Storm, where I represent like, hey, I have Teferi, Narset, Isochron Scepter, Chant, and it basically I'm winning the game, but because of time, you know, I'm not effective. I'm not exactly killing you right off the bat, but over time I will. So like if it kind of depends on the rounds, because this was in an RCQ round 1. What was it? Total Escape on a Wednesday night. I just remember like wanting to have my opponent concede to me. They didn't want to concede. I don't blame them. That's just kind of how it is. That's the reality of this deck, but you also just need to get a lot of good reps with this deck. Play quick, play to your outs. Yeah, time is definitely your enemy, I will say. I will definitely say that quite a bit. Alright, so new matchup. This is round 5. It looks like, I would assume, Live and End. Good old Live and End. It's kind of funny, I was playing against one of my friends playing against this deck. Oh, actually this could be Neoform. I would be kind of surprised to see this in Live and End, but who knows. But yeah, one of my friends was playing Live and End. We were just kind of jamming some modern stuff. I was on blue-white up against this matchup, up against Live and End. I would like to think it's an overall good matchup. Worm's Chance, speaking of which, we will keep that. Island Go. I would assume this is Neoform. Maybe it's Neoform Live and End combo. Who knows? Use a card on top. Okay. So we want to draw a 4th land here. Ugh. How ballsy are we? We're definitely not ballsy. We don't want to risk it, honestly. If we draw a 4th land untapped, I think we're in a good spot. Because we can go Narset and then go with Orange Chant, assuming that this deck is, well, this deck could also be playing what is it, Pact of Negation. So we can't just really just assume everything here. All right. So Azorius Rider, they're pitching 2 cards. Where do they pitch? Traxa. All right. So definitely not Live and End here. Do we counterspell? I think we do counterspell this. Kind of 3 from on our opponent here. I was kind of contemplating if I wanted to like actually just let it resolve, but then they have a 5/5. Rather not deal with that. Tune. We'll draw a card. Did not get there. Because this could have been the turn where we could have played a Narset instead, but I think here we'll actually do an Orange Chant on their turn. I was really hoping to draw a land there. But I could also just have nothing. Like, Neoform is kind of like an all-in kind of deck. Cool. Oops. I like having Mystigate, but boy, you have to be really cautious on how you tap. Alright, Narset. Hoping to... Well, assuming that this resolves. Okay, it does resolve. We're hoping to get an Orange Chant here. We did not, but we do get a Lorien Revealed, which can set us up for 5 mana. Hopefully we don't die next turn. And they have 3 cards in hand, so they would have to have Allosaurus Rider 2 green cards. I think we're safe here. We'll see. Oh. Into this recording, I'm already 3 hours over. But, of course, there will be a lot of cutting and whatnot, and I think that will trim it down to way less than 3 hours. So opponent is doing nothing, which is great for us. So we'll island cycle, and I think we'll just get a basic island. I just don't know, because I think do Neoform decks actually play Aurora? That's the only thing I'm kind of concerned about here. Play the Sky Reach instead. We're not really doing anything. I'm going to pull up a deck list really quick. almost like I'm cheating here. Alright, so most Neoform decks, it looks like they play Beseju. So I think we're safe to do this. And we won't activate Narset if we're already kind of committed to playing Days Undoing here, but I wonder if we actually just play Teferi here instead. Actually, let's see about... Let's get some options here. Let's do Narset first, because maybe if we draw a counterspell here, or even an Orange Chant, we're like in the best case scenario here. Cool. I like doing this because then if we set up our turn for Days Undoing next turn, then having these Planeswalkers out feels like we're in great shape. So we'll untap these two, and then on their upkeep we'll go Orange Chant with Kicker Cost. And you might be thinking, like, why are we like doing the Kicker Cost when they have no creatures in play? It's pretty much free at this point. I like to just kind of play it safe. Alright, so we'll draw... Oh, actually, we shouldn't have drawn, because we're just going to Days Undoing here. Right? Yeah, we're going to play an island and hold up this so we can make them draw a card. Or, sorry, discard a card. So Days Undoing. I don't think they're really playing Aurora here. Yeah, cool. So yeah, they see the writing on the wall, so they're gonna just concede. Totally fine here. So Mystical Dispute comes in, and Ashiok, Wrath of Bat are cards that I like bringing in for this matchup. Celestial Purge being another. Hainan, I haven't seen much value off of this tonight, but kind of curious about like playing High Noon in matchups like this, because if they play out, because to set up their turns, they have to Allosaurus Rider and then Neoform. That's 2 spells, so they have to kind of set up multiple spells in a turn. So I kind of might be tempted to bring in High Noon here, but let's see. We take out this, and we can bring in High Noons, I guess. Consigns for, I guess maybe their, what is it, their dinosaur, Jigolta. Let's say Atraxa would be another one there too. Stern Scolding, unfortunately not good, because it doesn't counter an Allosaurus Rider. Of course, the High Noon plan, it kind of depends. It can kind of vary on the board state here too. I think High Noon is good against them, gives us our Solitudes a window to blow them out when they expose. Yeah, I think so too. I can't remember if I brought this in against the last Neoform player I played against at RCQ about a month ago. Same at Dolo Escape. Nick lost his match at Nerd Store to High Noon in top 8. High Noon is one heck of a card. I mean, they allow Corey Steelcutter to be modern legal, so it's kind of the whole reason why I'm playing this card. It's also really good if we were playing against Living End. So I kind of like keeping this. So yeah, ending's not really getting any much value here. I guess if they are playing Birthing Ritual, that's the only thing where I can kind of see where Prismatic Ending would be useful there, but besides that, I could care less. And we're keeping in Supreme Verdict for those big fatties. Alright. Yeah, our matchups have been pretty close tonight. Like, we've gone to at least a game 3 each round, but I don't know. I'm kind of hoping to just, like, go 2-0 in this matchup and just kind of be done. Not the best showing tonight. I do apologize. I can't say I've played perfectly with this deck. But playing blue-white control, it's a hard deck to pilot. But I do recommend it. I do recommend it for your next RCQ. Here, I don't know. I like having half the combo here. However, we have 2 mono white sources. So like if one of these was like maybe a miss a gate, I'd probably want to keep this, because Days Undoing with Narset is just great. Of course, we can go to Fairy and then go Days Undoing on their turn or whatever. Do have an Orange Chant too. Ugh. I don't know how I feel about this hand. Hand seems okay. I just don't know. double blue would have been much better here, so I think I'm just going to mulligan. Okay. This seems fine. I would have preferred this as my 7, but... what are we putting back, though, is the question. I mean, I guess we could pitch a Solitude here. Let's make sure we revealed this. Tune the narrative. Kind of just want to be able to set up our draws, I want to say. What is that? That dragon has protection from white, so if they do resolve that, I guess if they have an Atraxa, kind of want to keep that. This might be weird. I don't even know if we'll be able to actually set up our Days Undoing anytime soon, so... Of course, I could see us just drawing a Narset follow-up with us. Lorien revealed. I'm okay with keeping that on top. It's basically kind of gets us our land drop. Of course, our opponent could set up their turn 2 play with Azorius Rider, but it does not look like it. Alright. I think we shock here. Cool thing is, if they play an Azorius Rider, we can respond to an Orange Chant, so they can't, like, Neoform. Or, what is it? Eldritch Evolution. We definitely have options here, so we'll have Tune and Orange Chant open. Also, Lorien revealed if we want to cycle it. This card was also great at the RCQ. Sometimes you just want to draw 3 cards. Alright, so end step, our opponent is doing nothing. Doing Ashiok. Okay. Kind of just want to cycle this now so we can get a land. Maybe we'll get a Hall of Found here. I guess we should have got an Archive now that I think about it. Yeah, this should have been an Archive. Whoops. I was thinking that we were probably just going to play Ashiok, but because we have this Orange Chant, I kind of want to... Yeah, I kind of just want to do this now. So tapped, we'll just pass. For me with Jeskai, it wasn't just kind of a one and done. Maybe for that RCQ it was a one and done, but I did end up taking it to SCG Indy. Did okay with it, but didn't seem like it was the right deck to play. I did see a decent amount of blue-white, which kind of made me kind of convinced to kind of switch over. I do like Jeskai. I think to each of their own. I think players can kind of do whatever they want with it. If you want a deck that plays a little bit faster, then you probably just want to play Jeskai Control. Does close out games faster. I like having stock up in my deck house, so I like the ability to actually win the game. Yeah, stock up is good too. I had him in both lists, Jeskai and Blue White. Here it just seems like it's just so tight. Like, I think if I wasn't on the Days Undoing plan, then yeah, stock up you for sure want to play. I can also see kind of doing a different version of blue-white where I don't do the Days Undoing and kind of doing a different twist, or just doing kind of like your standard blue-white deck without, what was it, Narset Days Undoing, so that kind of frees up like 6 cards there. I wouldn't be against it, honestly. I'm just kind of thinking if I want to Solitude here since they can't do anything. Actually, yeah, because they can't cast spells this turn. Oh yeah, I would still be jamming Orange Chant. Blue, colorless, blue here. Really wanted to kind of hold that Orange Chant though. Alright. Want to jam this Ashiok. They probably have a Mystical Dispute. Or Pact of Negation. I would assume that they're going to have a Consigned Memory in their hand. Otherwise, this would just be kind of a hilarious Pact of Negation. Veil Simmer to draw. Can't imagine that they would just, like, straight up lose to that. Oh, cool. And they replicate it. Smart on them, too. Huh. I don't know. I kind of wonder if I should have just not Orange Chant in response to the Allosaurus Rider. And of course, we draw our counterspell. We'll just pass. With nothing in hand. Alright, Flooded Strand, so we now have mana open up for Solitude. Of course, I think I do want to put Kihira into my hand, so we'll do that, actually. Oh, except we can't do that at beginning of combat. Oh, with, what is it, 2 lands in hand? Or 2 lands in play. Not really too worried about it. Because they would need to have another Allosaurus Rider, 2 green cards. They have to have at least 4 cards to make this happen. Okay, so one of them's a land they're fetching right away. Okay, so they're just doing a Surveil right off the bat. I think we will also Surveil. Yeah, notice this deck is playing 3 Surveil lands. Makes sense. Do we want a basic? Yeah, kind of want our land drops here. It's pretty standard for control decks. White, blue. Yeah. Kind of dumb that we have to manually tap it like this. Cool. And we'll just kind of try to be done with Kihira if we can. 4 cycle. Kind of a cool thing that they have this in the deck. Because late in the game they can just always hardcast it. Will they just been a Allosaurus Rider? Wow. So where are they trying to get then? Alright. Well, slow beats with Kihira here, so we'll put our opponent down to 19. Just pass the turn. But we'll have 7 turns to... Maybe 7 turns to deal with this Kihira. I'll probably try a different version of blue-white where this is not like the Narset combo. Maybe we play something a little bit more consistent. Ooh, Wandering Emperor. Speaking of which, yeah, if we do a different version of blue-white, I could see playing like 2 Wandering Emperors. Like right here, this is another reason why I actually put Wandering Emperor in the main board. This is actually the card that I put in last minute at Mythic. I took out the Force Negation for Wandering Emperor. And this was just, I think I mentioned before, it overperformed. It was a great card. I highly recommend it. I don't think I'm going to be taking out Wandering Emperor anytime soon. I think if the format was like super aggressive, I would probably take out Wandering Emperor. But it closes out games a lot faster. I would say, like, it's maybe not a good comparison, but I would probably say Wandering Emperor is like your Flage here. Maybe it doesn't exactly deal damage, but it does make tokens and just like close out a game fast. So like here, we'll flash it in. And if they want to like Pact of Negation this, we'll see about maybe using a counterspell. What are they doing here? Hardcasting Mystical Dispute. Interesting. Doesn't seem our opponent is doing anything else here, so let's just try to counterspell this. Looks like Wandering Emperor resolves. Excellent. So now we can kind of put a clock on. I think let's see if we draw an island. Cool. We'll make a dude attack for 5. just make sure 6, 8, 10, right? Yeah, so we will just orange chant them. Oh, did we forget to play? Yeah, we forgot to play on land, but that's fine. All right, so we'll orange chant. They can't cast spells. I think we play our Solitude here, 8, 10, boost us up to a counter. Yeah, we just kill them. Assuming that they don't have like a fog or anything that they can interact on our turn. I think we just throw this Solitude out. We will not be exiling one of our creatures. Cool. And we followed up with a Mystical Dispute. That's nice. Nice. And we got it. Once all the writing on the wall, and we went 3 and 2, so we basically just kind of got our entry back. So, not bad. I kind of wish we would have gone at least 4 and 1. Probably would have actually be able to beat, what is it, Boros Energy? Another Esper Goryo matchup we just lost due to time, but that can be the reality of playing this deck. But yeah, 3-2. Let me just go over to my deck, because we are going to do a deck review on this and kind of see what kind of changes we would make to this going forward, so kind of stay tuned to that. We're going to start with the deck list here. So here we are for the deck review. So we just went 3 and 2. But yeah, just to kind of go over this deck, things that we would probably change, maybe reconsider. I was kind of explaining at one point in the video of maybe like kind of taking out the Narset Days Undoing plan and kind of going with like maybe 6 wild cards here in the deck and maybe playing just a kind of a straight up blue-white control. Maybe a little bit faster with like another Wandering Emperor. So this is why we're going to do the deck review. Now, I've been kind of sold on Azorius Control chant combo for a while, but in this league, we didn't really see that kind of matter at all. I feel like there's one game where I kind of do the Scepter chant combo, but most of the time we're kind of doing Days Undoing Narset, and that can just be game-winning by itself there. So I will say, like, if you were going to your local RCQ and you want to play blue-white, I would not be against if you wanted to go play the Days Undoing Narset plan or not. I think there's a lot of cool things you can do with blue-white. It has a great toolbox overall. So blue-white control, you can go in so many different ways with it. But I think this was like the best configuration when I took it for Mythic a few weeks back. This is the exact list that I played at the RCQ. So basically no changes for this league, but we were doing this just for the sake of this video. Going forward, though, let's just say if we do want to keep the Narset Days Undoing, I would probably say I could see kind of taking out 1 Prismatic Ending for a March. For the matchups where, Urza Saga kind of does matter. In my local meta, there's a decent amount of Urza Saga. Being able to do this on turn, like if you have a March, you can go turn 1 Urza Saga, and that's kind of a nice Stone Rain card right there. You can also pair it with Azorius Control and pay the additional X mana with it, which is something that you can do. One thing to kind of also note with Azorius Control Chant, something I didn't really explain in the other video, is you can pay the additional kicker cost, which does get around things like Vex and Bubble. So keep that in mind because it does not counter that. Overall, though, I am satisfied with the deck, but I will kind of do a reconfiguration of this deck and maybe do a future video with another blue-white deck without the Days Undoing Narset plan, just to kind of see how maybe that list kind of compares, and I'll probably even throw in a second Wandering Emperor. Who knows? Overall, this combo was great. Love it for sure. I can see playing like 3 Teferi Time Ravelers. There was at one point where I was actually considering of just trimming out the 5 mana Teferi. In this league, we had so many board states so many opportunities and board states, I guess, too, where just jamming a 5 mana Teferi just matters so much. You draw a card, untap 2 lands. You have Orange Chant with kicker cost, or you have Counterspell. I think that's one of the biggest reasons why you kind of played this kind of build a blue-white control, is just so you can play a 5 mana Teferi, untap, and hold up Chant or Counterspell. It's a lot better than Jace the Mind Sculptor, because Jace the Mind Sculptor, you pay 4 mana, but you tap out. It's a good card when it resolves and it sticks around. I just kind of prefer 5 mana Teferi over Jace. Your Solitudes, those are not going away anytime soon. Those are here to stay, always a 4 of. Supreme Verdict, as mentioned before, they kind of split with 3 Wraths and 1 Supreme. Might seem a little bit weird here, but in the matchups where you're playing against Domain Zoo and Murktide, you want to at least keep a Supreme Verdict. There was a point in Boros Energy where this could have been our 4 Wrath of Skies, and we could have maybe won game 2 had it been a Wrath of the Skies, but it is what it is. We did not fetch accordingly. We did not fetch our basic island that we probably should have done. And I kind of did end up kind of ignoring myself, but I think given the board state there, I was just kind of playing to my outs and just wanted to kind of dig a little bit deeper. And plus, this deck has a lot of good outs of playing around Blood Moon, so I think even though we did get Blood Moon and it did cost us game 2, we did have ways to draw an Orange Chant with kicker cost, our best card being a Wrath of Skies, just to wrath the board and possibly win that game, but we didn't. We did get game 1 against it, though. We're hoping to probably get some... what am I trying to say here? Trying to get revenge against Boros Energy if we do play another League of Blue-White again. But yeah, I think overall, I like the main board. Definitely some changes that I would like to make, and I think I'll do a different version of that down the road. Sideboard, I love all these cards. Sideboard, I think my favorite card, if you were to ask me like what my favorite card in the sideboard is, I think I like Ashiok the most. I know it's kind of seems maybe a little bit random. You might think High Noon because it stops things like maybe Living End or is it Prowess, but I do like Ashiok just for a lot of like matchups like Neoform, Titan, Living End. Just there's so many matchups you can bring this up. Glorious Vengeance, which we did bring it in against twice. It didn't win us the game, but had it resolved at some point, it would have definitely hurt our opponent. It's not an auto win against Aspergorio since they can always like discard. It's not like Rest in Peace where they always exile cards out of their graveyard. So, but I think Ashiok does so many things. Just the static ability and the minus ability are just good overall. So this is my favorite sideboard card out of it. I don't think I'm going to be taking that out anytime soon. But yeah, Wear and Tear, great card, great against Affinity, Zoo, Ambulance Titan especially. I was kind of hoping that we were going to play against Ambulance Titan in this league, but we did not. One of the top tier decks. High Noon, didn't see any Prowess, but still plan to keep these in. Purge, great overall. I think great against a lot of matchups in the overall meta. Mystical Dispute, had this as Force Negation at one point. I like Mystical Dispute more in my opinion. There was consideration for Dovin's Veto, but I think Dispute overall is a better win percentage with this. Consigns, always a 4 of. I think, even though we didn't see any Eldrazi, I think Consigned Memory you just want to be cautious of against Eldrazi matchups overall. But yeah, that is the deck. It is a little bit past midnight, and I think I probably said way too much with this deck. I could probably talk about this deck for hours, but for people who know me, feel free to message me directly, leave anything in the comments once this video is posted up. But overall, thank you for tuning in, watching this deck, watching me play. I know I didn't play this deck perfectly. Would have been nice to have gone 5-0, but it is what it is, and we'll try again with maybe possibly a new build down the road. So other than that, you all have a good night. Thanks for tuning in.